So I have an EJ. I don't know if you know about my little fur baby.
Oh, your dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, bear, right?
No, EJ.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have him no more. When I left his mother,
Oh.
she took him. And I was so
Ooh.
glad. Like it ain't, it's one of them things like when you leave people, they try to take what the most important thing to you.
Yep.
The only difference is I've been to prison.
You know what it's like to lose everything.
You taking everything from me don't move me at all. Cause
Yeah.
I am gonna move on with my life. But needless to say, I was in Atlanta a year ago. I lived in Atlanta, and this lady that loves me to death. Never met her before, never seen her or nothing. But when I get my finances together, I'm going to New York to go visit this lady.
Okay.
She bought me EJ.
Wow.
I didn't ask for her or nothing. She called me and was like, I got something for you, but you got to go pick it up.
And you just went and there was a dog sitting there?
I went to the destination and a breeder who had a 5.5-week-old puppy.
Wow. And that's beautiful.
And
I'm a huge dog lover, as you can see by my name and logo and everything.
She told me, take this your baby. Nobody can ever take this from you. And
wow.
Me and EJ been rocking out. Like when I left my ex, everybody in the world had it on their mind that I was using my fur baby for attention. But it wasn't the case. The case of the matter is, anybody who know me in real life know I treat everybody around me like they special.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the attention. So I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be a writer. Right. I wanted to run a business. I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to be famous for hanging out with an animal. But as soon as I gave up on trying to be a rapper and trying to be a writer and running my business, as soon as I gave up on them things and just started having fun with my animal, I got famous. It's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. And did you have dogs your whole life growing up, or did you ever have them prior?
I had a few. Okay, so yeah, I could tell. I guess I could tell the story. So I got out of prison. For the first time in 2010. My mother was still alive, so I got out of prison the first time in 2010, and I ended up putting my mother into a nursing home because she needed 24-hour care.
Yeah.
My mother had a miniature pinscher. I would never forget this little lady. Her name was Baby Girl. Her real name was Precious, but her nickname was Baby Girl. Miniature Doberman pinscher.
Yeah.
So when I put my mother in a nursing home, my mother, I swear for Lord, this is going to sound silly, but it is what it is. My mother gave the dog her house.
Wow.
Like the house, me and my ex-wife and her son, we lived there, but the house wasn't ours. It belonged to the dog. It was the dog's house. No matter what was going on, that is where she was going to live all her last years.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I had her until I went back to prison.
Damn. Wow. So what did you go to prison for the first time? What was the first thing that got you locked up?
Assault, robbery, running from the police. I have a laundry list of felonies, right? Let me clear the air, right?
Okay.
Though I live a completely different lifestyle today, I used to be a moron, right? My drug of choice is the street life, not drugs, alcohol. No, I am addicted to fast money, cars, women, clothes, all of the things that come with living the street life.
Yeah.
That is my addiction. So
all that
I do everything in my power to kind of stay away from that.
Yeah. Okay. That's such a good point, because it's interesting too from somebody who talks all about or a lot about addiction and recovery. People always assume and look at addiction as being the obvious ones, alcohol, drugs, but some of the other ones that aren't looked at enough, in my opinion, street life, gambling, just all of that, like you just mentioned, that is your drug of choice. Like you said, that's wild.
Yeah, that's
And,
my addiction. My addiction
yeah.
is the street life.
And
So
what state are you in?
I'm in misery.
Misery. Oh man,
That's what I call it. I'm
that's
sorry.
all right.
I just literally can't help myself when it comes to this state. This is misery. And
And that's where you did all your time, is Missouri?
yeah, I've been to every prison in Missouri.
Damn. How many is there roughly? You have any idea?
11, 12.
Wow.
11, 12, 13, something like that.
Wow.
So let me think. It's Boonville that I know of. It's Boonville, Pacific, Emmy, Bowling Green, Mobley, Jefferson City. It was MSP, the Walls, but they closed it. I was there. I was there when they closed it. The Walls, Crossroads, Tipton, Al Gore, Bonter, and probably like Crossroads, Potosi. It's probably like 14, 15 at least.
Wow. What was the worst one you were at?
MSP.
MSP?
Yeah, MSP, the Missouri State Penitentiary, the bloodiest 44 acres in America.
I heard that. Yep.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Damn.
I was there when they closed it. Right.
Oh,
so
wow. And was this I saw that when I was researching a little bit, it wasn't the 17 years, was that straight, and then you did another couple years?
No, I did 14 flat.
Okay.
I did 14 flat. I came home, got married, got divorced, got depressed, got right back to playing in the streets, and went back for another 3.
Oh, wow. Damn. And how did you do your time? What was it like when you first got there? You were a kid. You were 19, 20, right?
I was 19, 20.
What was that like, just going up in there, walking in there as a kid and some of the blood, like you said, the 40 bloodiest acres in America?
It was a whole different experience for me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. How can I explain? I do not want to say this like it's a game or something like that. But I come from an extremely twisted background.
Yeah.
When I first went to prison, they knew I was coming. Like from my street days to me going to jail, by the time I made it to prison, they already knew I was coming. And like I say, the street life is my addiction. Prison, the street life. So it was part of the addiction. I don't have too many horrible, bad experiences where things happen to me. Don't get me wrong. Everything bad that could possibly happen to you, I seen it, right? But I wasn't a victim, right? I'm more like, though I was a kid, I was a victimizer and have been most of my life.
Yeah.
So I ain't really had too many problems. Like I seen what it was. I had more fight. My problem was more so with the staff than with the population.
And that can make your time very hard, because once you get that reputation as whatever with the staff, they start to fuck with you constantly. Whew.
Yeah, but my I don't want to say it wrong. Well, yeah, that may be the case. But on the back end though, mine was more of a respect thing. Mm-hmm. Like I done been beat up by the police and all of that. Yeah. But I kind of started all of those situations.
Yeah.
On the back end, though, it was just what it was. And since you locked up, what are you gonna do? And you got to make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. No matter what was going on, man, I was having fun. I didn't care. Like, I'm one of them type of people. So
wow. An old timer told me I was at a spot getting really comfortable and just we were eating good. We were, I was getting high all day, every day, avoided I got along with everybody. I wasn't banging, so I didn't have any, too much issues. And he said, I wouldn't get your ass too comfortable. It's like we were talking about in the beginning. Everything can be taken from you in any second. And then it was like that, and in solitary with nothing. So it seems like you went in with a better mentality of like, hey, I know this shit can be gone in a second and they could throw me in a hole, but I'm going to make the best of it.
Okay, so I got uncles that went to prison.
Yeah.
Right? When I was a kid, right? My uncles was gangsters. So I knew more about prison than most people that was in prison.
Wow.
Before I ever transitioned to even going to prison. So this my introduction to prison. I go to the diagnostic center. I as soon as I get to the diagnostic center, I go to the hole. Right? Because they want to draw blood. You know how when you come in, they gotta take your blood and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
You're not sticking me with no needle straight to the hole. I was in the hole for 2 weeks. And the only reason why I was in the hole because I wouldn't give them no blood. So when I finally decided that I was going to give them some blood, they let me out of the hole. I end up transferring to my first prison. And when I got there, they put me in R&O. You go through that for a couple weeks, and then they put you in your housing unit.
Yeah.
As soon as I got out of R&O and they put me in the housing unit, they put me in the housing unit with, what do we call this, man? They put me in the housing unit with the booty bandit. Right? With the raper man and all of that, which was cool. It was cool for me. I didn't care, right? So when I got to my cell, I walked in my cell. I will never forget this because that was one of the best treats I ever had while I was in prison. Yeah. So they put me in my cell. So when I walk in my cell, at this time they got the good jail food. So they got the cherry and the apple Danishes.
Oh, okay.
So when I walk into my cell, there's a cherry Danish sitting on my bunk.
Uh-oh.
I ate it immediately.
But isn't that typically then you
Let me I ate it immediately. Then I walked out in the wing, like, hey, who my celly? They like, oh, your celly, some old head. I'm like, where he at? They like, oh, he out on the yard. Can somebody go get him? Another little young dude going outside. He like, oh yeah, I get him. I'm going right where they at. Yeah. So he went and got my celly, and my celly came back into the housing unit. I'm in the cell waiting on him. As soon as he came in the cell, I took off on him. I'm talking about I beat that man almost all the way back out the housing unit.
Because you knew ahead of time his reputation.
I already know what type of time he was on. So I'm on it with you. Not only did I eat, but I beat him up. And he said he was going to kill me. All of that. Like everything that comes with, look, I'm going to kill you. That's cool. But you're not going to play with me. Not at all.
Yeah. Right? You set the tone right away.
I wasn't out of R&O 45 minutes. I was in the hole for 6 months.
Damn. How was that? And this is right in the beginning when you're 20 years old, right?
Right at the beginning, 20 years old. Man.
How was 6 months in the hole at 20?
Weird.
Yeah.
Right. Weird. Luckily, I'm comfortable. Luckily, I have been comfortable being by myself. So it wasn't really a problem. Like I'm just in the cell by myself.
Is that where you transitioned some of the rapping from prior into writing?
No, that came later. That came years later. Right. So I wanted to be a rapper. I ain't saying I'm good or not, but I don't know too many people who can put their words together like I do.
Yeah.
Not disputing, you know what I'm saying, talent and all of that. But I actually had the chance to, before there was a Nelly, before there was a Chingy, before there was anybody popular for doing music in St. Louis, I was on my way to getting signed. I just caught a case and went to prison.
Oh, shit.
Right, so it wasn't really too much of nothing I could do about that. And on the back end, I literally know all them people. All of the stars in my city, I know them. And not for being a star. I just know them as regular people because I've been playing in the street my whole life.
Damn. Wow. So that derailed your entire,
No, it didn't. I actually had a 17-year rap career in prison. My name still, when it comes to who is one of the best rappers in the Missouri Department of Correction, I still come up.
Damn. As Mr. Hey Now?
Now I come up as Burr. Nobody knows that know me from my previous life. That's my nickname.
I saw you had 6 different nicknames.
I have 6 personalities and they all got names.
Damn. What are they?
It's Mr. Smith. It's my mother's personality. Theodore Burlisco is a writer. It's Burr G. Then it's Day, Mr. Hey Now. And the other one, he just kind of go back and forth depending on what the day is, what he want to call himself. But they just kind of keep me together. And my multiple personalities is so weird because each one of them got a different talent. Like they all do something different and they kind of good at it.
Yeah.
So I be all over the place, but I'm not. I'm just letting whoever controlling the wheel do what they do.
Were you diagnosed or had the mental health, the depression, the multiple personalities prior to prison, or?
Yeah, I've been going to therapy and treatment, all of that since I was a little kid. Like I've been bad all my life. I ain't gonna try to be like one of them people that say that the world turned me into a bad person and all of that. Nah, I am into the daredevil life. Like I've been into that my whole life. I don't really have a fear of anything other than being broke. So whatever else kind of come with life, I roll with the punches. I don't care what it is.
Yeah. So once you got out of solitary, what was the next stop for you in prison? How'd that work?
Oh, he wanted to stab me. So when I got out of solitary, nobody knew who I was because I got out of Orno and went straight to the hole. So when I get out of the hole, I get word that the old heads who run the prison want to see me. Cool, let's do it. I'm like, they finna kill me, but I'm with it. I don't care. So when I go see who the old heads is, they know my uncles.
Oh, okay, of course.
They like, man, we've been waiting on you. And why you do him like that? He want to stab you. I'm cool with that. But so after I explained the situation, man, I went in my cell, man. The man put a cherry Danish on my bed. Well, what you do with it? I ate it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I gave him what he had coming for. I appreciate you. I didn't want to eat it. This was my mind state. Always have been, always will be. I don't want to eat it, right? And then act like there's not a consequence to it.
Yeah.
There's a consequence to that. So instead of acting like there's a consequence, I go towards the consequence head forward. I'm running into the wall. I'm not waiting on the wall to hit me.
Damn.
So we went back and forth. I ended up getting put out of that prison. I wasn't there 6 more months, and they was transferring me somewhere else.
Because you just kept wilding out.
Well, no, not really wilding out. Like I don't take no nonsense, and you gotta hurt me. So though I was young, and at the time I probably weighed $140 wet with rocks in my pocket. I've never been scared to lose a fight.
Yeah.
I'm more scared of not fighting.
Ain't having that, yeah.
then losing you're not always gonna win. But this is one thing I've learned in life, that if you do fight, if you don't have a problem fighting, people won't mess with you because they know win, lose, or draw,
you're gonna go.
I'm really gonna have to fight.
Yeah.
And that just kind of worked out for me. So
that's probably one of the biggest things for prison. I noticed that too. Win, lose, or draw, the dude that's willing to throw down whenever, wherever, however, people respect, because, and it goes back to even guys that you know are no pussies, no pushover, but they don't want to lose all the little comforts they have. There's a lot of guys who get way too comfortable losing those comforts and going to the hole, getting out of there. So, but somebody who's willing to, at any time, any place, to throw down, don't give a fuck about the comforts, any of that, that's a dangerous person. That's somebody who deserves respect.
Yeah, that's how and the crazy part is that how I got my respect through prison, right? You have to hurt me.
Yeah.
Not, you can't blow on me, you can't threaten me, none of that move me. You gonna have to, right? If you say you gonna do something, to me, then there's a bank somewhere that's gonna cash that check.
Yep. So how did it go? Now you hooked up with the old heads. They know your uncles.
I didn't even hook up with them. They just told me that they knew my uncles and that they had been waiting on me. And dude wanted to stab me. And I was like, I'm cool with that. Where he at?
And what happened? Did he?
Nothing. He seen me until I got transferred. I ended up getting into another incident with a whole nother group of people. But until then, I seen him, he seen me. And I always had, like, I pick at you. Like, once I know I got you, I pick at you. So I see him and I be like, man, you got something sweet? Like, you got
just fuck, yeah.
You got sweet, man, that little cake was fire. Right?
Yeah.
And people be like, man, why you mess with that man? Man, that man put a cake on my bed and thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Right? So we gonna keep it going. There's no reason in trying to act like it didn't happen. So I ain't gonna act like it happened, and it happened the way that it happened. Move right along. So I end up getting transferred from that prison, put out of the next one. Like, my prison rap sheet is just weird, right? I didn't get a clear sense of understanding until I was like 7, 8 years into it.
What happened then? What changed?
My mama got sick.
Multiple sclerosis, right?
Yeah, like when I first went to prison, my mother was walking. Like, she was upright, upbeat, and all of that. So about 7, 8 years into my bit, she started losing everything, control of her legs and all of that. She stopped walking, had the wheelchairs and all of that. That was the only thing that kind of calmed me down, because I wanted to make it out of prison for her to see her last breath. And I ended up going back to prison. It's just the craziest thing ever. But it just come with life.
Yeah. Wow. So what else did you go to solitary for during that 14?
Oh, everything.
Everything, just whatever?
Assault, drugs, not following orders, write-ups.
What was your longest stretch in there?
18 months.
And you didn't have a problem with that?
I didn't have a choice in the matter. So
yeah,
you can't have a problem when you don't have a choice.
Very true.
Like, I had a problem with it. I'm talking about extremely upset. Whole time I was there.
But I mean, when I say
done about it.
Yeah. That's what somebody asked me, like, how do you get through that? And I just said, I didn't have a fucking choice. It was die or get through it. But I guess what I mean by problem is, like, solitary for somebody too who is diagnosed with a major depressive disorder prior to prison with a series of head trauma. Solitary crippled me in the sense of mental health wise, just destroy, like, within 8 to 10 days, every time in there, I just started losing a grip on reality. Just totally gone. And I mean, like, there was a couple things that would occasionally, like, I'd get high. That actually, the only time I've said getting high saved my life was in solitary, because I was ready to, completely just hang it up. And then also the one time they let me be the trustee and mop and shit. So if it wasn't for getting out of the cell for an hour and being able to walk around, I was just totally losing it. But like, how did you mentally manage that besides not having a choice? What did you do during it?
Talk to myself. I did a whole bunch of writing and talking to myself, and a whole bunch of reading. Now on the back end, my mother was somebody. I can't say who she was or what she had going on, but because she been my mother my whole life. But the whole time, like, I kept like reading material, like the newspaper, magazines, mail, all of that. My mother never wrote me one letter while I was in prison, not one. But she always made sure that I had something to occupy my time.
Wow.
Right. So I got the newspaper every day. I literally read the newspaper from the front cover to the last page for a good year straight. Every day I knew everything that was going on in the world I couldn't be in.
Damn. That's I can relate to that too, reading the newspaper nonstop. Yeah. She made sure you got that, or were you guys allowed to get the newspaper in there?
Yeah, she made sure I got it, because I don't know who she knew or what she had going on in life, but she made sure that I was cool no matter where I was at. Like, as long as I could take care of my physical, being, and not letting anything happen to me physically, everything else was kind of cool. Like, I never stressed about money. I never had none of that stuff. But at the same time, I'm in the prison routine. So I gamble. I do everything that you do in prison. I'm into it, right? It just kind of was what it was. Like, the only thing that I stayed away from, and I stayed away from it, was the homosexuality aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
And let me explain to you why. I used to have a different opinion of homosexuals. When I went to prison, I had a different opinion of them. I thought all of them was soft. I thought, you know what I'm saying? Everybody had they little quips with homosexuals, gays, whatever you want to call them. I went to MSP, Missouri State Penitentiary. Blood is 44 acres in America. This was my introduction to MSP. I watched a homosexual kill a man in the middle of the yard with a sword, not a knife, not a small knife. Now about a 3.5, 4 foot sword. I don't know where he got it from, and I wasn't even trying to figure it out. But I watched him kill a man in the middle of the yard, looking like a girl.
Damn.
That was my introduction to homosexuals in prison, and I've had the utmost respect for them since then. Like, I have nothing soft to say about. I kind of, when you see certain things, like, be like, oh yeah, you got to watch out for the punks, man. Bro, I just watched that man kill that man out there.
Doesn't matter what his sexuality is. He's just as dangerous as anybody else.
That man was dangerous. And then I seen another homosexual almost kill somebody. I'm like, you stay away from them like the plague.
Wow.
So that was my message. So that, like, drugs, drinking, making alcohol, stealing, all of that. That was my prison. Prison was, except for missing women, prison was just like the streets, actually. Like, wasn't nothing going on the streets that you couldn't find in prison. If you could pick the drug, you could find it.
Yep.
If you wanted clothes, if you wanted anything that they had going on in the real world, it's possible to attain it in prison.
Yep.
It's just who you know.
Wow. And so I read one of the reasons you wrote, I don't know what number book it was people kept asking you, when you got out, why'd you go back? And so you said, my answer was, that's why I wrote the book.
Loud. Right. Loud. Yeah, loud, a strong story. So
yeah. And that had to, Oh, go ahead.
So I went back to prison. I had to go do 3 years running from the police and all of that. I would have had way more charges, but I ran and I got rid of the charges on my way before I caught.
Yeah.
So while I was in prison, everybody, like, but it's a reason why, okay, before I went to prison, probably 16, 18 months before I went to prison, the feds kicked my house in. I wasn't there, right? I had a couple partners that was there. They went to jail, right? I wasn't there. I was on parole, though. So my parole officer violated me. And not only did I have a fed hole looking for me, I had the parole violation, no contact with the police. So for 18 months, I was on the run. But I did everything I wanted to do. So the people around me couldn't believe that I was on the run, right? Because gun everywhere I go, I was selling drugs and doing everything I didn't have no business doing. So the people that I ran into on a regular basis, all of that, they couldn't believe I was on the run. But I was. I just didn't care because that's how I look at life. I end up getting caught and going back to prison. And everybody that I talked to wanted to know what happened. And my mother told me it was time. And I'm like, it's time for what? She's like, it's time to stop telling people these stories and start putting them down, because later on in life, you will see why. Now I actually see why she wanted me to write them down.
Yeah.
So I wrote a few books for my mother before I came home. She had them when I came home. My book, Solitary Confinement, My Walls Are Talking. The only reason I published that book is because my mother gave it back to me. I wrote it for her.
Wow.
She was into poetry and spoken word. So I wrote it for her while I was in prison. I sent it to her. When I came back home the second time, she gave it back to me, like, publish this. I want to hold it. Right? Yeah. Like, I don't want you to, I want to hold it. So publish it. So that's just kind of what I did. So put my story on words. She told me if I write it down and I publish it, now I don't have to explain it. When somebody asks me what happened, I can just hand them a book. Here, read the story.
That's wild. That's cool too. That you got to give her that gift. That's incredible.
And my last book, the last book that I put out December, I put it on Apple. But I tell the story about, like, my mother and how just going through life, like having her and losing her, like, kind of did for me, because she been mama daddy my whole life.
Yeah. So, wow. So what is what's going on with I know you said you didn't expect or want to be famous for the dog, but it clearly has gotten to that point. That's with TikTok too, right?
Yep.
What how did that come about, and what did you just posting you and the dog and it just blew up?
Absolutely. Like, and this is the craziest part. That's not what I signed up for. Okay, so I do, like I said, I do music. So on TikTok, I have like 30 songs. The only reason why I even got on TikTok was because my music is in the sound section.
Oh.
So once I got on there and I started seeing what was going on, I started reaching out to kids and all of that, and nobody wanted to help me try to trim one of my songs. I end up getting an animal that I didn't even want. So I end up getting an animal that I didn't want, and I'm like, well, I own a company. I do music. If you're gonna be with me, you need to represent the company. And like, you gonna be my little model, my mascot. I got to feed you, I got to clothe you, I got to do everything for you. Yeah. So you gonna rock the logo. And it kind of took off. The craziest part about it was until all the way up to this day. Not one thing I've ever posted was scripted.
Wow.
And they're all they're all real. It's all real life. It's all real. They're all real moments. The only difference is I take time out of my day to post. That's it. The only thing. It's the only thing about my social media that I'm not. There's nothing that I be like, oh, well, I'm finna try to see if I could get her to do this, that, and the third. No.
It's just whatever happens.
I pay attention. Being in prison helped me.
Yeah.
So I pay attention to behavior patterns. So I might see something. I might see her do something that was cute.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it. I just caught a glimpse out the corner of my eye, her doing something that was cute. Like jumping into the, like I have a post right now that just did 1 million views in a day.
I just saw it.
Her jumping to the window to lay down. Right?
Oh, okay.
The first time she did it, I didn't catch it. The second time she did it, I didn't catch it. I seen it, but I didn't catch it because I didn't know what to look for. So the third time she did it, I just happened to be paying attention and turned my phone towards her.
That's wild.
I taped it. It did 1 million views. I didn't have to say one word. She do what she does because that's who she is. I've just learned to pay attention. And
1.3 million. I just pulled it up. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and paying attention to her is what's popular because she do what she want to do.
Yeah.
We have a clear understanding of each other, and we go back and forth. We have a whole bunch of fun. But her personality, hers, I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Even though it wasn't the direct way you wanted to maybe get, you got the 2.4 million followers and can maybe stream that into some of the music and writing and stuff. Yeah, I've been posting on TikTok for 4 years now, 5-6 times a day, and I'm not doing bad. I got 55,000, but it's definitely I've put hours into videos before that just tank. And then some, I'll just do 30 seconds of, I don't know, whatever's on my mind, and it does great, blows up. It's wild. Yeah, I gotta go through. I didn't even know about TikTok until we just started talking about it. I gotta go through that and watch all your videos. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I have, and the TikTok thing is crazy. Okay, so let me play it out for you. Think if you thought that was something, it's not. That's the reason why I don't really trip off of it like that. Yeah, I got 2.4 million followers. I do.
Yeah.
I am not moved at all because I know nothing about social media, so I ain't figured out how to transfer those 2.4 million followers into $1. Yeah. When I figure that out, then I may be excited about it. But
what about the Creator Fund? Did you think about joining?
I'm a part of the Creator Fund.
It's pennies, right?
Listen, don't let them people trick you into thinking that it's something special in there. It's not.
It's pennies. Yeah.
I'm talking about it's points of pennies actually.
Yeah.
Right. Like you gotta actually do 1 million views or better to even see a couple dollars. Like the rest of it is just pennies. I run a full-time t-shirt shop. TikTok can't pay my bills. And I got 2.4 million followers in, but not because it can't. I can't figure out how. I just haven't figured out how.
Yeah,
there is a way, and I know it is. I just don't. I don't know because I'm institutionalized, and I don't have a problem saying that. Like I'm institutionalized, and by being institutionalized, I study and I pay attention, but on the back end, I know nothing about what be going on in the world. I live in a bubble. It keep me out of trouble.
Yeah. And
but back to what I was saying though. The TikTok and Instagram and all of that. 2017, November 18th. I had my mother's funeral while she was still alive. And I told my mother that I would do everything in my power to make her name live forever. Just because I'm silly like that. One. Number two, she taught me the power of writing, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you put it in a book, it'll last forever. Unless they have, one of the 1700 book burning.
Yeah.
But I doubt that's coming back. But
well, even now it's online though, so it's going to stay.
Yeah, if you put it in a book, it'll last forever. And you can hide it in a book. Okay, cool. So I told my mother I would do everything in my power to make her name live forever. 2.4 million people know my mother's name. And they call it on a regular basis and don't even pay attention. Like,
wow.
Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, like that's the difference. Like, that's why I don't really be tripping off of it, because whether I figure out how to get $1 out of it or not, the mission is still being completed. My mission was to make sure that my mama lived forever. So I am literally making sure that my mother lived forever.
Wow. What do you do at your full-time job, at your t-shirt shop that you own? So it's all custom t-shirts?
Not t-shirts, face masks, socks, puzzles. I do all kinds of stuff.
Everything.
Multiple personalities. Everybody got the one thing that they do good. So my personality, they run a t-shirt shop. He could put almost anything on anything.
Wow.
So I do socks, I do t-shirts, I do sweatshirts, I do face masks, I do puzzles, I do headbands. Almost anything that you can customize, I can. Not saying that I will, but I probably can customize it.
Wow. Well, Damon, I appreciate your time. I want to do another one too with you sometime in the future here.
Listen, let me give you a quick rundown. This is why. I know this is gonna sound strange, but you've been in prison, so you probably can understand it. I live every day like tomorrow is not promised to me.
Yeah.
I don't plan. I don't look forward. I don't plan. I don't look forward. I'm not even thinking about what a tomorrow is, because in my understanding, the same way I understood it in prison, yesterday is gone. Tomorrow will never get here. All you got is today. By the time you make it to tomorrow, it's going to be today. So I look at my life like that. That's how I go through life. I ain't worried about a bill or nothing. I don't care. Wherever waking up free is all that matters to me. Everything else will take care of itself along the process.
That's an incredible perspective.
Like that is my whole philosophy in life. I don't even know how. Like, people ask me stuff like, "Oh, let's do something next week." Next week when? We gonna set it for Woo. Forgive me, I don't think 4 hours ahead.
Yeah.
You don't think 4 hours ahead. Well, how you do? Because I don't think 4 hours ahead. I know a whole bunch of people that have things planned for next year. They gonna die sometime this year and never get to them. Not me. If I think it, I'm gonna try to achieve it and then move on to
the next
thing in my life. Right.
Taking care of one thing at a time, and that's it.
The easiest way to get goals accomplished is to actually accomplish the goal. Don't start it and then start something else, and then start something else, and then start something else, and then try to come back and finish it. Start it, finish it, move on to the next thing. Start it, finish it. But one more thing before you go, because I know your viewers gonna want to know this. Longest time I spent in solitary confinement was 18 months. Let me tell you why. I was in a cell with a little dude that me and him didn't get along, and I didn't want to be in the cell with him. So I reached out to everybody in the institution to try to get my cell transferred. But we are in Jefferson City, Missouri, JCCC, Jefferson City Correctional Center, the new one that they opened after they closed MSP, which happened to be the worst prison ever. I could tell you some stories about that place that you possibly wouldn't believe, but it's haunted in real life. The prison is haunted, literally.
We'll do all that in the next one, MSP.
Yeah, it's the prison that had the gas chamber and all that. I literally have pictures of me sitting in the gas chamber taking the deep breath.
Damn.
Like just on some weird, I'm weird like that. So I'm in the cell with a little dude and we end up getting into it and I almost killed him. Nah, I didn't want to, but I told him, if you play with me, this how this gonna turn out. Yeah. So I almost killed dude. They had to airlift him out of the prison. I ended up going to the hole for 18 months. I did a year, no human contact. That will change you as a person, right? No human contact. I got my food through a slot in a slot, right? Which is the weirdest thing ever because I've been to the hole a whole bunch of times. The slot is a slot, but when they put you on no human contact, they attach a tray to the slot. They open the door to the slot and attach a tray to the slot, then close it. They put your food in there and then open it where you can't even see who gave you your food. They close it. They put a magnet over the window, the outside and the inside. You never know what time it is. You never know what day it is unless you're keeping track of it. The only thing that helped me with no human contact is I got mail. So though my mail didn't come on the day it was supposed to come on, I could kind of keep up with the days because the newspaper would come. Yeah. No meds, no none of that. For a whole year, I was stuck in the hole because he was in the hospital 6 months of it. They tried to prosecute me and all of that, but I tried to avoid the situation before it got that far. And being in prison, you know, if you tell them you into it with your cellie, they think, you know how they act, like we not gonna move you nowhere else. You just trying to get moved. Nah, I'm trying not to kill dude. Yeah. But okay, if that's what y'all on, all right, cool. He gonna play with me one of these times, and this is what it's gonna be. My cellie, who I ended up almost killing, got life without, like in 60 or 80 years. They actually from the medical. Due to the beating I gave him, they actually finna get that man medical parole, and he got life without.
He had the life prior without. Yeah.
He had life without and 30, 60 years for killing his girlfriend and her new boyfriend. Had nothing to do with me.
Oh, shit.
They just put him in a cell with me, and I didn't get into it with him because of what he did.
Yeah.
On the streets.
He was just playing with you.
I got into it with him because he couldn't watch his mouth.
Damn.
So
no human contact. That's wild.
And as bad as it sounded, it changed me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can't imagine.
It made me not have. I literally don't care about losing anything. Right. I've been stuck in the room. I was stuck in the room for a whole year with nothing. With nothing.
That's the ultimate loss.
So now when it comes to losing and being in bad shit, that was the worst situation I could ever. And on top of that, both of my shoulders is messed up. Because before they put me on no human contact, I was chained to a bench for 72 hours.
Damn.
I did that. That one I kind of did to myself. I didn't want to go in the cell. Oh, you going in the cell? I ain't going in there. Oh, we gonna put you on this bench and leave you there till you ready to go in the cell. All right, cool. I'm finna be here. Because in prison, the days keep ticking. Makes no difference what you do, what you on, and none of that. Man, the days keep ticking. You can't stop the clock. So I have this sentence right here that I got to knock down.
Whether I'm in the hole, whether I'm in pop.
Don't make no difference. Where I'm at, every day still count.
Damn.
So when they ask me, how do you feel about solitary confinement? Man, I've been by myself. I know what that feels like. You ain't until you heard a killer scream and cry at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, how they want to get out. You will never understand. Like, You can't break that. You can't break that down. You can't explain that to people. I've seen the toughest men in the world lose it around the toughest men in the world.
Yep. In the box.
In the box, chained up like an animal. You ain't never been chained to a bed before. I have. You ain't never been hit with the industrial mace. I have. I understand all of it.
Yeah.
They ever brought the water hose out and sprayed you down?
Yes.
I have. I know what come with that. Ever been stabbed? I have. Not like he didn't get me like he wanted to, but I have. Like, so I kind of seen it. I kind of seen it all throughout my prison stay. Then I came back. Didn't get enough. I had to come back.
Didn't get enough.
And didn't get enough. I had to come back and visit. I had to come back for another tour because I missed a couple prisons on the first ride.
Oh, jeez.
To be able to say I was at all of them. So I missed a couple prisons on the first ride. I came back and touched all of them.
Wow. Well, I'm going to let you go right now, but I'm going to be emailing you. We'll do another one. Thank you so much for sharing everything.
Man, it's not a problem. Like these are things that I would love to sit down and tell the youth of America, man, to stop being stupid.
Yep, that's what it is. I want to do the next one on TikTok if you're up for it, because I think there's a lot more youth on there too.
Yeah, listen, I do not have a problem with it. You just have to keep me posted.
Yeah, I will.
I don't be, man.
I ain't gonna plan it. I'm just gonna let you know.
I got like 15 companies in my email. They want to talk to me about doing promotions for them. I told them people, man, look, if I get around to it, I will.
Yeah.
Right. If I get around to it, I will. Other than that, I'm trying to get through the day.
Yeah. That's what it's about. Get through today.
There is no guarantee that I'm gonna make it to next week when y'all need me to do something. I ain't even thinking about it because there's no guarantee on that. If we make it, I'll deal with it then.
Well, I can tell you helped me get through today. Remind me of some of that stuff to not go back to.
Yeah, like that's the one thing that I tell people. If you think being a street dude is cool? Cool. Being stupid and whatever it is that you want to do, not understanding that the laws. I didn't understand what laws and all of that was until I went to prison. I got the chance to start studying them and see what was going on. Man, there's a law for everything.
Yep.
And you have to, and once you understand that there's a law for everything, you can actually play the game. Prison is literally college for criminals.
Yeah.
You have to make the most of your time. Though I spent 5, 6, 7 years in solitary confinement, I studied the whole time I didn't have nothing else to do. I had nothing else to do.
That's it.
So I made the most of my time, but it's time I'll never get back.
That's a fact.
Right, 6,205 days. Right? I gave them people 6,205 days of my life that I'll never get back. That is a number that most people can't even understand.
Yep.
They can't understand, and I don't even expect them to, because I don't want you to know how bad that is. You don't need to take my word for it.
Exactly.
If you don't want to take my word for it, you go find out yourself. But when you find out, you gonna think to yourself, I should have just took his word for it.
Yep.
You do not hit the wall to know that it's gonna hurt. Somebody can tell you if you run into that wall, it's gonna hurt. Most people gonna run into the wall because they got to see for themselves.
Yeah. Damn.
You don't have to see for yourself. Take it from people who already seen it.
Yeah.
It's different. I went to prison in 1996, 97. There was no such thing as the internet. Imagine. Went to prison in 96, 97. There was no such thing as the internet. I came home in 2010. Everything was going Google, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Totally different.
Everything that we have going on today was around when I came home from prison.
Damon, I got to let you go on that.
Enjoy your day. Be safe.
Thank you.
Anytime you want to sit down and chit chat, bro,
yeah.
I have prison stories for days.
Okay.
I don't tell them. The crazy part, I have such a popular social media. I do not even tell. Most of the people that follow me don't even know I've been in jail.
Damn.
That'll
be even a bigger surprise.
That is the beauty of that is the beauty of social media. If I don't tell them, they don't know.
Yeah.
Most people not gonna go do no research to even find.
No, and they don't connect the dots. They just assume your account's about the dog, and they don't even look at the other.
They look at my account being me hanging out with my puppy, but they don't understand why I be hanging out with my puppy, because it's the first thing. This is the first thing in life that I have been responsible for that ain't left my sight. This is my child. I don't have no children. I don't have no biological kids. So this my child, and my child always with me.
Good for you, man. I love dogs.
Man, I'm talking about this little. Yeah, and I had a year, so we're gonna go do something special today.
Yeah. All right, Damon. Have a great day. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch, man. Anytime you need me, just let me know.
All right, sounds good.
One.
See you.